make sure that it's.
Sorry. This computer wants to,
Sorry, I wish I could hold my lips to start this. Thanks. Okay, bye. Okay. Okay.
maybe, all right, can you, Martha, can you go to the YouTube account and just see if it's doing it on your?
If it's training. Please go. So, yeah.
Normally we put them on punches.
Okay.
I was more.
I'm looking at this chart.
Do you need to like grab out the boxes?
I think we have them, now we just make it backwards for a reason. This is just. Senator Owen,
Howdy.
Senator Smith, Cashman.
Howdy.
Senator Allen, howdy. Senator Jackson. Senator Royal. Senator Attaway, howdy. Senator Dealey,
Howdy.
Senator Richards,
Howdy.
Senator Schmidt, howdy. Senator Austin Williams,
Howdy.
Senator Yost. Senator Collins. Senator Tesler. Senator Bongo. Howdy. Senator Landons. Senator Smith. Great. Senator Westlake. Senator Van Williams.
Here.
Senator Long.
Howdy.
Senator Graham.
Here. Howdy.
Senator Alvarez. Howdy. Senator Burnside. Senator Hughes. Howdy. Senator Coates. Senator Willis.
Howdy.
Senator Von Wolferfeld.
Howdy.
Senator Batten. Howdy. Senator Adamet. Senator Barber. Senator Becker. Howdy. Senator Brown. Senator Clark. Howdy. Senator Fleener. Howdy. Senator Flores. Howdy. Senator Garcia. Howdy. Senator Glazer. Senator Glover.
Howdy.
Senator Paul. Howdy. Senator Hicks. Howdy. Senator Honey. Senator Kaiser. Howdy. Senator Murray. Howdy. Senator Pesitt. Howdy. Senator Pogue. Howdy. Senator Sanders.
Howdy.
Senator Hargrove.
Howdy.
Senator Maynard. Senator Roberts. Senator Nathan Williams.
Howdy.
Senator Basoni.
Howdy.
Senator Bradley. Senator Cho. Senator Dow. Senator Medvedev.
Howdy.
Senator Shuck. Senator Wells.
Howdy.
Senator Wu. Senator Sanchez. Howdy. Senator Sloan. Senator Steele. Senator Stites.
Howdy.
Senator Teets. Howdy. Senator Vanderheiden. Howdy. Senator Wilkins. Senator Shortner. Here. Senator Knott.
Howdy.
Senator Lambert.
Howdy.
Senator Ebel.
Howdy.
Senator Will Masters.
Howdy.
All right, with that. Our EDO is going to put the agenda into the proper folder on the Google Drive, so if you're not able to get into it right now. Mike's gonna do it for us. Okay, perfect. We will now move into our indication and pledge of allegiance led by Ryan Keller of Cache College Station Wildlife. Okay, will you please bow your heads?
Dear Lord, I thank you so much for this beautiful day you've given us and for all of these amazing leaders in this room that have dedicated so much time and effort to the university that we love so much. I just pray for discernment during this meeting and that it will run smoothly and that everyone travels home safe tonight. In your name we pray, amen.
All right, and then everybody stand.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right, we thank her for her time. With that, we will now move into our mission statement and our honor code led by our longest serving Senator Chairman Purcell.
The Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. A&M does not lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do.
With that, we will now move into a period of open forum. EDO Troyer, do we have anyone for open forum? Yes, me.
Oh.
Alright. Okay, so my name's Ellen Troyer, I'm the Executive Director of Operations. Something really cool we're doing this year is we're doing Senate merch. So these are the things that are available. The store run closes on Sunday, 9th. So if you're interested in getting anything, I highly recommend. We have still 12 things, but everything is at face value. Senate is not getting anything from this. This is just for y'all to be able to represent it and hopefully generate conversation around campus about Senate and what we do just based on merchandise. If you'll scroll down, this is the QR code. Everyone get out and scan it, even if you're not gonna buy anything. I want everyone to please scan this QR code. So it's at the front of your mind. And if you open Google and it's there, maybe you'll decide to buy it. Yeah. Perfect. We thank her for her time. With that, we'll now move into the approval of the September 17th meeting minutes. Do I see any objection to the minutes? Seeing none, these minutes do pass. With that, we will now move into the swearing in of our new senators. So will all of our senators please come to the floor to be sworn in by our Chief Justice. We'll now be sworn in by our Chief Justice.
Please raise your right hand. I state your name, do solemnly swear.
I,
do solemnly swear. To faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
The duties of the office of Student Senate.
the duties of the office of student senate.
The Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
Texas A&M University Student Government Association,
To uphold the honor of the same.
to uphold the honor
At all times protect the welfare of the student body.
at all times, protect the welfare of the student body,
And to promote good relations between the students.
and to promote good relations between students
And those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with
the university.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right. With that, we are now going to move into our traditions and culture chair election. The floor is now open for nominations. I see Chair Patel.
Chairman Patel, constituency affairs, I nominate Senator Teets.
Second.
Do you approve of this nomination?
I do.
The floor is still open for nominations. I see Chair Chu.
Chair choose to serve as I nominate Senator Lisa.
Second.
Do you accept this nomination?
Accept the nomination.
And the floor is still open for nominations. Do I see any nominations? I see Senator Flores.
Senator Flores on campus caucus, I nominate Senator Rivon.
Where is she?
I'm right here.
Okay, sorry. Do you accept this nomination?
Yes.
The floor is still open for nominations. Do I see any more nominations? Seeing none. Candidate 2 and 3, will you please exit the room with your character witness? That's Senator Bozzoni and Senator Vivanco. Senator Teets will now be candidate 1, then the other 2 exit the room, please. Candidate 1, will you please come to the floor with your character witness? All right, you have 10 minutes beginning at
That was the door. Can we wait for the rest?
for the what?
For the senator and Chair for the cylinder.
Oh, sorry. Nope, you're good. Thank you. Okay, now you have 10 minutes to begin your talk.
Senator Teets, off-campus caucus, howdy.
Howdy.
Great to be here with all of you tonight. Like I said, my name is Lauren Teets. I am the class of 2027. Hey. And I'm running to be your inaugural Traditions and Culture Chair. Just a little bit about me, if you didn't know it already, I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm majoring in management on the pre-law track at Mays. I'm pursuing a minor in American politics and policy, and my career goal is to be a policy advisor. But very fun fact that's very special to me is I'm a fourth generation ag. Okay, a little bit of involvement and how I spend my time at A&M. This is my third year in Kappa Delta. My favorite thing about Kappa Delta is we're the only sorority on the row that has 3 philanthropies. So we have so many opportunities for service. I love to be involved in all of that. Next up is Aggie Nations. I actually heard about Aggie Nations sitting in the same seats that all of you are sitting in right now whenever we approved them to be an SGA committee. And it really pulled out of my heartstrings that there are a lot of international students that don't know about or feel as though they have the opportunity to share all the traditions that we hold so dear. So that was why I joined Nations, and it's been so life-giving to me. Whenever I was a freshman, I was in FAST, Freshman Aggie Spreading Tradition. Again, it's the traditions flow, really pulled on my heart as a fourth generation Aggie. I've been in Student Senate for 2 sessions. This is my second. The first session, I was on the Rules and Regulations Committee, working with Corbett Armstrong. And in this session, I've been in the Community Relations Committee, working with These are my values, which I will touch on more later, but I am loyal, driven, receptive, and collaborative. These are things that I personally make a habit of pursuing in my personal life and work actively to make sure that they are sharp. Next slide. So I'll connect my values with what TNC is momentarily, but we just talked about this recently with the Traditions and Culture Act, but for our new senators, this is what the code says. Traditions and Culture Committee is to consider all legislation and matters pertaining to interactions between SGA and the faculty and administration of TAMU as it relates to issues of culture, community, student experience, and university traditions, specifically considering legislation related to cultural events and recognition, silver taps, and muster. So connecting that to me and my values. So I'm loyal, as I said, and this has been a very contentious committee, as we've seen from many rounds of debate. I don't know how many off the top of my head, the fact that it went to committee. And I'm loyal to the guidelines that we as a Senate have created. Next, I am driven, and I'm driven to make this a unified committee. It has been divisive as we've determined what this committee is going to be, what it's going to look like. And my dream, my hope, my prayer is that this will become the most unifying committee in the Student Senate, and that the student body will know of our committee as unifying. I won't rest until it's a unifying committee. Next, I'm receptive. I understand that there have been a lot of opinions, like I've said, about this committee, and I'm open and receptive to those opinions. I think constructive criticism and feedback are critical to achieving the result that all of us as a unified Student Senate want. And lastly, I'm collaborative. Not only am I so excited and intrigued by the idea of hearing all of your ideas, but I'm also planning to actively pursue collaboration with you. If you feel like you're sitting on the sidelines, I want to be in. These are more of my enumerated goals, not separate or distinct from my values, but just enumerated so you have them. My goal is to ensure that all students feel seen and heard by the 78th session of Student Senate. My goal is to celebrate the cultures that make Aggies unique and the traditions that make us one big Aggie team. And finally, my goal is to encourage internal Senate and overall student involvement in Aggie traditions. If you don't hear anything else that I've said tonight, or if nothing is really stuck, let it be this. The Traditions and Culture Committee will be a unifying force in the Student Senate, the student body, and for Texas A&M University as a whole. Here are some of my letters of recommendation. You'll see the D&I chair from the 77th session, as well as our chairman from this session. I'm so grateful to them for their letters of rec. Keep going. There's a couple more. Pro Temp is not able to be with us tonight, but Gia and Luke are also very special people to me. So I believe now it's time for us to move into my character witness. Let me introduce her really quick. I have had the honor of calling Shelby my friend for 3 years now. She is the most earnest, hardworking, and loyal person I've met in my time at A&M, and I don't say that lightly. She is always working to pursue our friendship and to be an excellent friend to me, and she's also always working on all of y'all's behalf. She is super involved in election commission. She's super involved in muster. If there's anybody who works hard here, it's Shelby. So without further ado, here is Shelby Meyer.
With that, our character witness is now open for a 5-minute period of presentation, beginning at howdy.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy.
I'm gonna read off the script just because everything I say, I want to make sure it's put together. So howdy Senate, my name is Shelby and I currently serve as the election commissioner for the Student Government Association and as serving on the executive team for the muster committee. I'm standing before you today with the privilege of speaking on behalf of someone I deeply respect, my close friend Lauren Keats, who is seeking the honor to serve this university as the Student Senate's Tradition and Culture Chair. I've known Lauren for 3 years through both academic and organizational settings here at Texas A&M. We have served together in many leadership roles, and she has taught me what it means to be a reverent Aggie and to live out the core values in everything that I do. In that time, I've seen her character tested, her leadership refined, and her commitment to our Aggie community shine through time and time again. When you consider someone for a role tied so closely to the preservation and protection of our traditions, the first question you should ask yourself should be, does this person live out the core values of Texas A&M? With Lauren, the answer is an undeniable yes. She embodies respect in the way she listens and seeks to understand every perspective before acting. She pursues excellence not by chasing recognition, but by ensuring that every task she undertakes is completed with care and intention. She is a leader not because she demands the spotlight, but because she elevates the voices of others and encourages their growth. And above all, she practices selfless service, putting the needs of her peers, her organization, and this university before her own. Lauren is one of the best Aggies I've ever met. When I think of what it means to be an Aggie, I am reminded of Lauren. If you've ever gotten the opportunity to sit down with her, you would be able to tell instantly how big her heart is for this university and its traditions. Now, we all know that the position she seeks is not about a title. It's about stewardship, safeguarding traditions that define who we are as Aggies, and ensuring they are carried forward with the same spirit that has united our campus for generations. Lauren understands that Aggie traditions are not just events or checklists. They are living expressions of our shared history, our loyalty to one another, and our promise to honor those who came before us. She approaches traditions with both reverence and creativity. Reverence for the meaning behind them, and creativity to ensure they remain relevant and inclusive for every Aggie, from the freshman stepping onto campus for the first time, to the former student returning for their 50th year reunion muster. Lauren understands what it means to serve these families that have gone through some of the hardest moments in their lives. On every single tradition day, Lauren is constantly reaching out to others to ensure they know what the tradition is and why they should participate. Lauren was the first person I ever heard about Bonfire Remembrance from, and she is always the first person to share her love and passion for our university's traditions to others. In every space I've seen her serve, she has prioritized community over self. Whether it's simply working to create a welcoming environment for potential new members through her role as sisterhood daycare for Kappa Delta, she never hesitates to step in, give her time, energy, and heart. What impresses me the most is that she views service not as an obligation, but as an opportunity. An opportunity to strengthen the Aggie family, to honor our values, and to ensure that no student feels left out of the traditions that make this university so unique. She knows that this role is about guardianship and representation. I believe she will safeguard what must never change, and she will represent every student and ensuring our traditions remain a source of unity rather than division. The families that we honor on the first Tuesday of every month, the 12 families that return to IBN at 2:42 a.m., and the families that hear the student body answer here for their loved one would be lucky to be served by Esmond. I know that she will do her absolute best to serve these families, our tradition, and our university better than anyone else can. Senators, tonight you're not simply casting a vote for a candidate, you are entrusting one of the most sacred aspects of our student life, our traditions, to a single person. I ask that you entrust this responsibility to Lauren. She has the humility, the integrity, and the unwavering spirit of service to ensure that our traditions are honored today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. I am proud to call her my friend, I am proud to call her a fellow Aggie, and I am honored to recommend her without hesitation for the role of the Traditions and Culture Chair. Thank you.
With that, our presenter is now open for a 5-minute period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for the nominee? I see Chair Hurt.
Jennifer LR, I guess what is your favorite tradition?
It is such a hard question to answer. Obviously, we all love them, but mustard. I sob every time, if I'm being completely honest. It is so moving, and it's even more so to look down the aisle at who you're sitting with and realize that they'll be doing that for something. Thank you for the question.
Senator Willis.
Senator Willis, on campus caucus. If you were to win this race, what is the first project involving traditions that you would work on or first change that you would try to make?
Great question. I think the first thing I would do is make a calendar. Just to be honest, I don't want to miss any traditions or culturally important moments. I know that we have some big stuff coming up. We have bonfire in November. But I would confer with my committee, see what their input is on the calendar and go from there. I do know that this committee is about student experience, and there's been so much with ticket pull and tailgate pull. So I probably would go in that direction, but I understand we have silver tops coming up and that those things are at the top of that list. Thank you for your question.
Permission to briefly back and forth.
Granted.
What would you change with, or what would you try to push forward with ticket poll and tailgate poll?
Controversial topic. I am demanding feedback form be allowed between the university and the students, which I passed in our last session. That's not the focus of this committee. That's not what I'm trying to make it about, but it is about student experience. And I don't think that topics like that escape the breadth of the committee as the Senate has created.
Senator Hargrove.
Senator Hargrove, College of Education and Human Development, in what ways do you plan to survey the student body to evaluate if there's good experience with our traditions and culture?
Absolutely. I know that there are resources such as SAFAT. I know that the previous chair of what this committee was did some outreach on her own that was exemplary in its form. And I will be using both of those resources, the former chair, my committee, so that's 3, former chair, the committee, and SAFAT.
Chair Hurt.
Chair Hurt LR again, I guess can you do a 20-second sales pitch to an international student who's never heard about mustard? If someone's not.
Absolutely. Mustard is the most fundamental tradition to what makes Texas A&M a traditions-focused school. You will be remembered by not only those who you went to school with, but those who will be here once you are gone. We walk under trees planted by those that came before us on a daily basis. That's literal, and I mean it metaphorically. You not only have the privilege to walk under those trees, but you're that tree for someone else. Thank you for the question.
Chair Williams.
Chair Williams, Community Relations, based on the brief time that I've gotten to have with you in Community Relations, how can you take that experience and apply it to traditions and culture? Chair.
Absolutely. First of all, let me say, I have really enjoyed my time in community relations, and choosing to run for this position was not something I did lightly because of how much I have enjoyed that time there. I think that how we relate with our community is through our traditions and culture. And so I would love to see some overlap there. Thank you for your question.
Chair Hurt.
LR again, I'm fine. I haven't talked to anyone who was part of the our current traditions and culture.
I've talked to those here.
Missy, any other questions? I see Churchill.
Chair Chu, Student Services, thank you for the presentation. How do you plan on getting the core involved with your committee, if at all?
That is a great question. I know that the core, to those of us that, like myself, live off campus, can feel a little bit closed off, but y'all really are a huge part of the spirit of Aggieland. I would love to talk to representation from each of the different units and see not only if they have ideas for involvement, but if they would like to be involved in student senate pursuing a higher emphasis on traditions. Thank you for your question.
With that, our presenter is now finished her presentation and will exit the room with her. So I'll just remain quiet before the next one comes up. All right, candidate 2 is open for a 10-minute period of presentation beginning at Howdy.
Well, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
I'm James Dunning, class of 28.
Hey.
Thank you. We're talking a little about me. Next slide, please. I was originally born in Salem, New Jersey. Although I spent most of my life in Austin, Texas, I know. Don't worry, I got here as soon as I could. I'm a material science engineering major, obviously I'm from the engineering caucus. And I'm a first generation Aggie. Recently, I actually got an Air Force contract, and the dream is, after college, to go fly fighter jets with the US Air Force. Some of my hobbies, I love hiking, I love camping, and I love running, pretty much anything outdoors. And some fun facts, you know, I have a black belt in a Korean martial art, I'm an Eagle Scout, and I play the viola. Next slide, please.
Sorry, guys.
Obviously, I'm a 78th session student center in the athletic affairs committee. I'm also a member of the Fighting Tank Sagging Corps Cadets, so strong as well. I don't have time to go into all my leadership positions, we're just gonna gloss over them, but I'm also in Cadet Leadership Council. All these positions are, you know, I've got people under me to lead, I got people over me giving me direction, just like Senate. You know, I got directions from above, prompts from below. And in all these positions, I've been doing a pretty good job, I think. We'll have some people testify that later. Next slide, please. Values. Obviously, I know for a lot of you, faith is a very important value, same for me. Personally, you know, I think it's the most important thing in any person's life is your relationship with God and your faith. But in a leader, you know, you don't lead a committee alone. It's not a one-man show. You gotta have faith in the people in your committee, the people you work with. That's why I think faith is very important. Selfless service too. That's what leading is about. It's about serving, that's what we're here to do in the Senate. Is to serve the students in every way we can. Integrity, you know, accountable leadership, holding yourself accountable, all these are important to me, and they should be important to all of us, because it's one of our Aggie core values, along with excellence. Someone told me something pretty important about excellence recently, actually. They said it was getting 1% better each day. And I think that's something that I reflected on that when they said it. I was like, am I getting 1% better each day? We don't always hit that 1%, but it's one of my goals, and it's an Aggie core value, obviously, to strive for excellence and be that 1% better each day. Humility. Humility is very important to me, and I think it ties into faith in your people as well. If your leader, right, is not humble, they think they run the show, they think they do everything themselves. They're not gonna be a good leader, they're not gonna be a good friend, you don't wanna hang out with someone who's not humble, who doesn't brag about themselves. Humility is very important to me, and I think it should be important to all of us. Next slide, please. Now, vision is very important to this chair. We have a unique opportunity and challenge with this chair. Because this committee is being redefined, it's being rebranded, it's a brand new committee. So with that, we have the opportunity and challenge to define how this committee is gonna run and operate and the goals it's gonna have for the next 20 odd years that come up. With that, one of our most important visions I have for this committee is working hand in hand with the executive and the rest of student government. We've got a lot of amazing organizations in the Student Government Association, like Traditions Council, Mustard Committee, Silver Taps, all of these wonderful people who know lots about traditions and culture and have known lots about them for years. Working with those people to do the best we can for our students. I have a great relationship with our Vice President of Traditions and Enrichment, Trey Bass. Next slide later, you'll see that got a great letter of recommendation from him. So I'm not touching this slide, by that, I confused me. Next part of the vision, right, is the mission of student government, right, is enhancing student experience, student well-being. That's what all of us are here to do, student well-being, right? And this committee is being noted of. Being that we wanna define the way that this committee is gonna run and the goals it's gonna have for the future. We wanna be good shepherds and stewards of our resources, y'all's time. That's why my vision is a data-driven solution, especially for this early period of this committee. We don't wanna be throwing, stuff at the wall, hoping we get something to stick. And that leads to the next, 5-10 years, this committee's doing that. We wanna know exactly what we're aiming to do, what's gonna help students the most with well-being and elevate their experience in the best way we can. After that, right, is a brand new committee. I wanna have some brand new ideas, and that also ties into humility that I was talking about before. The chair doesn't run the show. It's a team, everyone works together, there's no I in team, obviously. It's gonna be a new committee. And we wanna have new input from everybody. I can promise you that even if I'm not chair, if you ever come up to me with an idea or a suggestion on anything, I will make time out of my day to entertain that, to have dialogue about it and discuss that. Next slide, please. Got some wonderful letter of recommendation from some key people in the Student Government Association. Specifically in Traditions Council positions and our Vice President of Traditions and Enrichment. We got Mason Gusser, class of 26. Hey, some of you older senators know him. He was a 76 and more experienced senators. Larry Madsen, he was a 76 and 77th session senator. I know he was in the Academic Affairs Committee, and right now he's in Traditions Council. I've known him for about a year, and I've also got Mr. Trey Bass, class of 27. Who obviously I've been talking about before, Vice President of Traditions and Enrichment in the Executive. He's also 3 more experienced senators, a 77th session senator. And he was the Legislative Relations Chair. I already have a great working relationship with Trey Bass, I've known him for a while. Actually, I know, obviously most of you aren't in the Corps. You took Hullabaloo U, but for the Corps, we had our own course, School of Military Science. And I'm not sure if Hullabaloo U does it, don't correct me later if I'm wrong. But Trey Bass was a sophomore at the time, and he was the advisor in that class, an upperclassman in my School of Military Science class. There just to teach us about, leadership and, becoming accustomed to college. Same as Hullabaloo U prepare y'all. So I've known Trey for a while, And I'm very excited to hopefully work with him in the future. We got Shane Sproles, class of 27.
Hey, woo.
Yeah. He's also a member of Traditions Council, the first sergeant of Squadron 12. No whoop. I was all. Obviously, I got a bunch of recommendations from, Traditions Council people. Excited to work with all these people, and all of y'all, hopefully, in the coming year. Next slide, please. Got my character witness. This is Miss Kayla Parker. She's a member of the Corps of Cadets, the first wing commander. Before that, she was a platoon sergeant in Squadron 12, and one of my juniors, where she personally was part of the freshman leadership experience, this year in the Corps. And she can, testify a lot about the tough situations and leadership shown in the fish year. She's also the deputy commander of logistics in detachment 805, that's the Air Force ROTC detachment here at A&M. And she's a member of Parsons Mounted Cavalry. That I'd like to pass it off to my character witness.
All right, with that, the character witness is now open for a 5-minute period of presentation, beginning at howdy.
Howdy. My name is Kayla Parker, and like James said, I'm the first wing commander of the Corps of Cadets. So I'm in charge of about 850 people in the Corps, and my job is made a lot easier by leaders of character and men of excellent leadership and followership like James. As he mentioned, last year I was in Squadron 12, and I got the privilege of being one of his junior advisors and mentors. And in Squadron 12, a few of the core values that we really emphasize: honor, excellence, and might. Honor, to pay respect and tribute to those who have gone before us. Excellence, to showcase that attention to detail and prove that we're going to strive for excellence in everything we do and every aspect of what we do. And might, not just for physical prowess, but for mental and spiritual fortitude as well. And I can confidently say that by the end of last year of my mentorship with him as a freshman, that he could not only exude these values, but he knew how to teach them as well. And that's because most of the time before this year. Also, these uniforms, they're filled with history, they're filled with tradition, also a lot of sweat from cadets years past. But that means something. That means something to us, and that means something to him. When he puts this uniform on, he's reminded of those core values and what it represents and what it means to live them out each day. And he's gonna do it not just to prove to y'all and to prove to himself that he can do it, but so that he can touch the lives of everyone else that he visits.
Troyer will take the nominee and the character witness. Oh, wait, no. Question. 5-minute period question and answer. You are now open for a 5-minute period question and answer. I see Chair Kim.
Chair Kim, Academic Affairs, what is your favorite tradition and why?
Thank you, that's an excellent question. I would say my favorite tradition and the most important tradition here at A&M is that of muster. We have almost 150-year history from 1876 all the way to now. And ever since 1903, we've been celebrating muster, remembering the Aggies who came before us. A&M, I think, is unique, and it's part of the reason actually why I picked A&M when I was a high school senior trying to figure out what college I wanted to go to. Was the deep tradition and history of A&M. And ever since I attended my muster and, hearing stories of previous musters, I was just amazed by the sense of continuity with, all the Aggies who, from now we have 70,000, plus Aggies here at A&M to back in 1876 when we only had 40 Aggies in that first class. Thank you, that's the question.
I see Senator Willis.
Senator Willis on campus caucus, I'll ask the same question I asked the other. If you were to win this race, what's the first project involving traditions that you would work on, or the first change?
That's a good question. The first project or change I try to make. The first thing I do, of course, is I start coordinating with executive and other wonderful traditions people in student government. As for projects I have, one thing I'd really love to see, and of course, I talked about humility. I'm very open to suggestions for my whole committee. But finding a way to incorporate all of our Aggies in these traditions, some of these traditions. Some of these traditions aren't always attended, right, by every single Aggie, and of course, people are busy, they have their lives, everyone's a student. But I think we should find ways and goals to make these traditions more accessible for students, so that we can get, Aggies who are outside or feel outside of that A&M culture, feel like they're in part of the group. Thank you, that's the question though.
Senator Richards?
Senator Richards, College of Arts and Sciences. I hear a lot of talk about traditions, which I think is great. How do you plan to continue to promote inclusivity and advocate for students to feel like they're included?
As I touched on the previous question, I think it falls more into the culture part of, traditions and culture. The first part of that is listening to them. People want to be heard, especially if they feel like they're outside of the A&M culture as a whole. And I talked on before, data-driven solutions, and we're not just throwing stuff at the wall. So really making sure we listen to their voice and have ways of, asking them what they need or how they feel outside of A&M culture and what it takes to bring it in so we can implement those. Maybe that's the question.
Senator LeMasters?
Senator LeMasters, freshman caucus. How do you plan to make the freshman class more engaged in traditions as a class?
I think, first of all, is pushing those and further advertising those early Aggie experiences we have here. Visiting campus, fish camp, all those early experiences that for a lot of freshmen really cement themselves into what it is to be an Aggie. Learning yells, facts about the university, feeling ingrained in the culture and in a group of other freshmen, like-minded freshmen. So I think really pushing that early engagement and making them feel part of the greater Aggie community, part of something later, is a good way to get freshmen in.
Please wrap up in 1 sentence or less.
Good way to get freshmen in. Thank you for the.
All right, with that, we thank them for their time. Please stand at ease, please remain quiet while we go to get the next.
Are you back?
All right, you will have 10 minutes beginning at howdy.
Howdy, Aggies.
Howdy.
My name is Melissa Bosco. I am the largest proudest member of the class of 2028. And I am hoping to be your next written people prepared. So a little bit about me. So I am initially from Salt Lake, Texas, but I'm actually not from the US. I'm from Mexico, and I have really grown to love Texas and grown to love the US. I generally don't think I could be happier anywhere else. And anytime I go back to Mexico, it doesn't feel like I'm going home. I feel like I've really become a Texas resident, Texas at heart, and I could not love the state any more than I already do. My major is in public service and administration, and I am specifically concentrated in nonprofits because I really believe that there's so much work that can be done and so much good that comes out of them that people don't see. It's the people who work behind the scenes, and I think that that is something like an internal thing for me. My career goal is to be an employment lawyer. It's a receptive industry. People always need jobs, and I would love to litigate for you if you ever get into school in the few years. Some fun facts: one of my best friends is an Olympian, and he holds the a climbing record, the world record from the Olympics. I have a scar on my knee from pizza cheese, and I also love a good road trip. I have done road trips that have gone over 3 days and 20 hours. Some of my most close values are integrity, dedication, faith, justice, and trust. My general outlook on life really does come from God, and even if you are or are not Christian, I think you can relate to the fact of serving others and living your life to help other people is why we're in this room, and I just don't see myself being successful doing anything else. And I believe that my calling is to help others, to lift every person I meet. I want to meet you where you are and show you God's love through my actions and my words and who I am as a person. So then from there, my involvement is so pretty large. I'm involved at St. Mary's. I love a good Bible study group. I'm in Theta. I recently got inducted, so I'm no longer a beach cat, I'm now a real cat. I'm an anti-minority women in law, which is a pre-law org, class councils. The big event staff, I was a GLC delegate last year and I hosted private staff this next year. I was a muster host. I was involved in Free Law Society, and I was just newly accepted to Kappa Alpha Pi, which is another free law org. My job description, I think you already kind of know because of the whole debacle of getting into the churches and culture care. But this position is really invested in helping A&M students see the value and beauty of A&M and how much our values matter, and making sure that all students have all the information that they need for it. So obviously this is a lot, but some traditions and cultural resources that I think that we cannot look over is Fish Camp and Impact scholarships. I know so many students who over the year have told, who over my 2 years here have told me that they initially didn't think that they could afford Fish Camp, and I was like, little do you know, there are scholarships available. It's just hard to find them sometimes. Same with Corps Cadets recruitments and scholarships. I know that we do a really great job of bringing in out-of-state students through the Corps Cadets. And I'm like, we can show them that they have such a viable career path through the military if they come here. From there, we have a lot of really giving a lot of visibility to stuff that there is in Evans, from speakers to laptops to TI-84 calculators. Evans has a plethora of resources that not all of them know about, and I want to make sure that they have access to that. From there, I want to start an Ask the Cadet, which is to highlight all the traditions. A&M cadets have so much knowledge, and I love to question and pick their brains every time I ask them, hey, what does this tree mean by Simpson Drillfield? It's just such an integral part of A&M, and one of my friends, he goes to SMU, and he's told me that A&M would not be A&M without the Corps of Cadets, and I wholeheartedly agree. From there, I also want to help a lot of boards spotlight their philanthropy events, because selfless service is one of the Aggie core values. Whether you are a flow, a Greek organization, a women's men's org, any org that you're a part of, if you want to come to us and ask us to spotlight your board and their philanthropy event, yes, I want to say yes to that, and I want to share. And let's rally behind them. Let's rally behind the student-led organizations and the good that they're wanting to do. And lastly, I would like to do more day in the lives of students. We have such a rich culture that really spreads from every corner of campus. And if we're able to meet them where they're at, I think we can help other students see that, hey, maybe you're not falling behind. There's someone else in your place, and they're going to be just as successful as you are. So some of my personal goals with this position is to keep Northgate Northgate. And along with that, to keep protecting the historic areas in Ryan College Station, whether that be the Dixie Chicken, the historic housing, or the historic housing behind Kyle Fields. From there, we also need to help connect Aggies with excursions. Today, I actually told the freshmen about Fish Fest, which is next month. And I'm like, that is your freshman tradition. We want you there. But they just don't know about it, and we could do such a better job advertising. And SGA is such a great way to spotlight it because we have students from everywhere on campus. From there, we can also help boost that engagement by posting in the moms groups. Facebook moms are how I find out half my information. And honestly, if you just reach out to them, they're more than happy to help. Aggie moms are also such a great resources. From there, at the NSC, you don't in that pamphlet that has the yearly calendar, It doesn't have traditions in there. If we can get the traditions planned out ahead of time, we can hopefully have all the tradition information in that pamphlet, so when freshmen get it, they're ready to go from day one. From that, there used to be the core value awards that were given through SGA, and I think that we should go back to that nomination process. Because it is such a cool thing to say, hey, these students really showed the REL's core values in everyday life. And people notice, and I want to show them that, hey, I acknowledge you, SGA acknowledges you, and the student body should acknowledge you. Lastly, the Aggie Achieve rings. Obviously, there is some middle ground with that, but I'm like, why can't we give them a choice? And SGA has really worked to help them off the stage in the past. If they are working the 90 hours, let's help them out. Let's get them their own Aggie ring as well. From there, my letters of recommendation are from Ryan Adamek, who is the current off-campus senator, Michaela Granger, who is the current class council's executive chair, which is the one that handles all the class traditions. And last year, she was Fish co-head director, and Will McBride, who is the assistant mascot corporal, so he helps with drug league. And Blake Keith, he is the current GLC director. Macy Eargeorge, who is the previous class council's exec chair, and Riley Fitzlove, and those are all his accolades. And now from my character witness.
All right. With that, you're now open for a 5-minute period of presentation, beginning at Howdy.
Senator Murray, off-campus caucus. Howdy.
Howdy.
My name is Allie Murray, and it is my honor to speak on behalf of my friend Camilla Levanto as she runs for the position of Traditions and Culture Chair. When I think of Camilla, the first words that come to mind are faith, hope, and love, values that she lives out every single day as a sister of Kappa Alpha Theta. But beyond that, Camilla embodies leadership, service, and personal integrity. Camilla is someone who consistently goes above and beyond for her community. In Theta, she serves on our Theta Fest committee, where she has already taken action to make our event a success. I have the personal opportunity to work closely with members of our philanthropy committee, and I can clearly see that she is already taking action towards the goals and values she outlined in her application. She has taken initiative in reaching out to businesses, local churches, and charities to acquire resources like tables and chairs. For Camilla, it's never just about checking a box. It's about making sure that everyone and everything is taken care of. That's the kind of leader that she is: creative, resourceful, and driven to serve others. Her philanthropic heart shines through in everything she does. Her major focus in public service and nonprofits demonstrates her calling to use her skills to better communities greater than herself. She has made this evident through her involvement with her national philanthropy cause. But Camilla's involvement extends far beyond Theta. She has touched nearly every corner of this campus, from class councils, where she helps carry forward Aggie class traditions, to Aggie Muster, where she helped host one of the most sacred days at Texas A&M, to the big event where she joined thousands of Aggies to give back to the Bryan College Station community. She has also taken on leadership roles as senator, in professional organizations, and countless other initiatives. Through it all, she's proven her ability to unite people, honor traditions, and serve with both resilience and joy. What sets Camilla apart is not just the long list of organizations she's in, it's the way she approaches each responsibility. She works hard every single day to positively impact as many lives as possible, and she does so with kindness, perseverance, and follow-through. She's not afraid to take on challenges, and she does it with the integrity to meet and exceed every commitment. For these reasons and many more, I believe Camilla Levanto is the best choice for Traditions and Culture Chair. She has the experience, the heart, and the vision to represent every student here, and she will ensure our Aggie traditions are honored and passed down with the respect and love they deserve. Thanks again.
Our presenters are open for a 5-minute period of question and answer. Please direct your questions to Chair Horton. I see Chair Horton.
Chair Horton, rules and regs. First and preface. First of all, Camilla, great presentation. Second of all, if there was a push to remove a tradition at A&M and it had large student backing, would you support keeping that tradition in the way we've done things, or would you support what the majority of students want?
I believe that is a question of understanding the situation. For example, to get full, that was such a fun thing, and obviously a lot of students, there was a lot of backlash after it was removed. However, whenever safety came, at the end of the day, it was a safety question, and I believe that the university did their best trying to make that tradition still happen to the best of their abilities, but at the end of the day, student safety came in mind, and I think that was the right choice. So to you, I think that would be a specific situation, because if student safety should always come first and foremost. And if that's in question, I think that should be a very large consideration. But otherwise, if there are small tweaks that can be made, I have seen people run traditions for the past 2 years through class councils. There's always a change that can be made and a middle ground that can be found, and I hope that I'm able to see that.
Chair Chu.
Chair Chu, Student Services, thank you for the presentation. Could you elaborate a little bit more on like the Ask the Cadet idea that you have? Would it be like something on Instagram story or like what did you have in there?
Yeah, so that's something that I kind of was workshopping. I really remember that I met Lona Bride through GLC, but actually one day we were at a church event. And my car was on West Campus and I didn't know how to get to my car from my church, so which is like on Northgate. So I asked him to help walk me, and during that time, I learned how much cadets know. Like, I could ask him anything, and he had an answer about Aggie traditions. I'm a first gen Aggie, I don't even know when or where my parents graduated from for college, but he did, and he had so much information, and I was like, really in awe and inspired, and I'm like, there can be a questionnaire that can be filled out, it can be an Instagram story, it can even be a monthly post on Instagram, or even something on the Senate website. I just want students to know, hey, the Core Cadets is people who you can go and ask questions to, and they are always willing to talk. Let's go ahead and put them on the platform. Let's give them a real voice.
Senator Willis.
Senator Willis, on campus caucus. Out of your long list of projects for this, which one do you think you would try to tackle first if you want?
I think I want to really spotlight traditions. Through my time in class councils, I realized that the biggest tradition that we post is pull-out day for sophomores, so they are able to move for the first time. And I really realized that that's because they're excited. Everyone wants to be able to move, no matter what age you're at. But if we really give them, like today I was talking to freshmen, so I talked to a freshman, a junior, and a senior, and none of them knew that their class tradition was or what was coming up. And I'm like, that is so unfortunate because A&M gives you so much. And even though class councils is not part of SGA, I have had friends tell me that they couldn't go to the flight of the Great Pumpkin because they didn't know about it. I've had friends tell me that they didn't know about muster, so they couldn't go. And I'm like, that is so unfortunate when we have so many things to give that if we just push a little harder to make them be seen, our attendance to really go up, especially if we get the moms involved. I really do believe that that's something that I would work on first.
Chair Hurt.
Sure, LR. My question is that, what is your favorite Aggie tradition and why? And explain that tradition as if you're talking to an international student, nothing about it.
My favorite Aggie tradition is muster. My uncle, he came here, he's like not my like blood related uncle, but he is my uncle. And whenever he found out I was an Aggie, he actually flew in from Mexico to congratulate me and to be at my grad party. And I actually asked him this question, and I think that it's so eloquently explained it, and it's Aggie Muster is an international celebration of an Aggie's life. No matter what year you were, no matter where you came from, and no matter where you sadly passed, you are acknowledged and loved by Texas A&M. And it doesn't matter which muster ceremony hosts you. We want to, like, a university knows you by name and loves you as a person. And I think that is something that no other university can ever do. And considering our size and the fact that we do it, I think that is the most special thing I have ever seen.
Chair Horton.
Rescinded.
Do I see any other questions? Seeing none, we thank them for their time. All right, for our new senators, we're now going to be moving into a period of debate. When we do debate on elections, we are not saying anything hurtful about anyone, we're only debating for the candidate. And additionally, we do not say the candidate's name. If you say the candidate's name, you are out of order and you will have to sit down. You will either use candidate 1, candidate 2, or candidate 3. We're not using any names. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. We are now moving into the first round of debate for candidate 1. Do I see any debate for candidate 1? I see Chair Williams. You'll have 2.5 minutes beginning at Howdy.
Howdy, Senate. Hi. Clay Williams, Community Relations. I'm so honored to be able to speak for candidate number one. I'm gonna wrap myself out a little bit. You know, even as a chair, I sometimes find myself underwater. I feel like I'm not doing what I should, not up to the best of my ability. And candidate number one has proven time and time again that she can make a connection with anyone. She can make a connection with you, and you know it's sincere, it's real. She wants you to feel like you are enough. And I think that's exactly what this committee chair needs. Her outgoing capabilities are incredible. She's proven time and time again that she is not afraid to stand up for what is right and what she believes. And she's ultimately so excited to be able to make a difference on this university. I think this position would be great for her. With that, I yield my time to Chair Wolf.
Seeing that Chair Horton has been yielded to, you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds beginning at Holly's.
Howdy, y'all. Chair Board.
Howdy.
Candidate one is awesome. I had the pleasure last semester, or last year, getting to work with her on our committee. And then over the past couple of weeks, getting to work with candidate one on several awesome pieces of legislation. A lot of the resolutions was passed and been authored by candidate one. And she has put out such great work and impact, and she really cares for it and loves this body. She loves A&M, she loves the traditions of it, and I think she's awesome. Whenever I was envisioning what the traditions and culture community would look like, I did not know at first it would be candidate one who I'd want to be. But after lots of talking with her, I realized this position had been created for her through a work of God that I really didn't understand at the time. As well, the person who previously held what this position used to be supported her. So you have people all around supporting her. I think it's awesome. But the most important thing I'd like us to reiterate is that Kenneth loves the tradition of A&M. And I think there's no better person for this job. I think she truly has been ordained for this job. So with that, I yield to.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, we will now move into the first round of debate for candidate two. Do I see debate for candidate two? I see Chair two. You'll have 2 minutes and 30 seconds beginning at Howdy.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Chair Choose Student Services. One thing that I want to come down here and talk about candidate two is specifically honing in on his letter of recommendation from the Vice President of Traditions and Enrichment in the Executive Cabinet. That speaks a lot. That letter of recommendation holds a lot of weight because this is a whole new world that we're stepping into as the Student Government Association. We have never done a specific vice presidency for this or a specific chair for this before. And having someone of that caliber writing a letter of recommendation and really spearheading what it means to have traditions enrichment here on campus is extremely important. And candidate two has all those things, you know, he's got it cooking. He's got the traditions down, he knows his capsologies as a cadet, right? Everybody knows that. But he also has the ability to go out and find those people, educate those people, and also get them into the culture. And get them bought in. And that's especially what I saw with this presentation that I like the best. Furthermore, candidate two is just driven to make a change and to establish this chair as the one for the future. I'm really surprised we didn't have anything like this before as a Student Government Association. But now that we have it, I think it's extremely important to put a cadet in there first, someone who knows the traditions, someone who lives the traditions from 5 o'clock in the morning all the way down to 7:30 at night. And that person is going to be able to put in all the work that he wants to, and not only that he wants to, but that will take this chair and make it into something that we've never seen before. With that, I yield my time to Senator King.
Seeing that Chair Kim has been yielded to, we'll have 48 seconds beginning at Howdy.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Chair Kim, Academic Affairs. So adding on to what Chair Chu said about candidate two. Candidate two is in my unit in the Corps of Cadets. He's in the Air Force side. He recently just got contracted. I've been a fish with him. I believe he put up a picture of us as fish. Being trained, drilling the campusologies, drilling the traditions as guardians of traditions. He made an effort to always learn those traditions. He made an effort to always show up. Bonfire, even the student bonfire cut and sack, bonfire remembrance, August of mustard, as it seems to be a very popular tradition amongst the candidates. Every silver caps he's been there. I've seen him where he was sick, he missed physical training, he missed core activity, he missed classes.
Please wrap up
but
with
he
1 sentence or
missed
less.
Silver cap. I believe candidate two is the best candidate for this check. Thank you.
With that, we will now move into the first round of debate for candidate 3. Do I see any debate for candidate 3? I see Chair Hurt.
Let's not senators.
2 minutes and 30 seconds beginning at Howdy.
Ready, howdy Senate.
Howdy.
Howdy, I'm Chair Hurt, I'm Legislative Relations, just introduce myself and refreshments. And new elected speakers as well. Candidate 3, I think, has a really unique input coming as an international student. I think that's a demographic that we often talk about within the student government, but we don't necessarily focus on. I think that's something that we need that insight on. I think we don't necessarily have a lot of international student insight, particularly when it comes into student government. We kind of lack that demographic. So I think candidate 3 is able to accomplish that as well. But on top of that, I think candidate 3 is also quite qualified on knowing the way around the land of traditions. I think as myself, as a first generation college student and a first generation Aggie, I was introduced to fish camp because of my cousin, who was like, I knew an Aggie friend and you should do fish camp. I had to apply to a scholarship. I would have known about fish camp or scholarship otherwise. I think us increasing the visibility about this is really important. I think that is a great tangible idea. I think candidate 3 has the most tangible ideas when it comes to specifics about policy implementation. I like the aspect of asking for a cadet member. I'm a part of the Howdy crew, and we always state that the Corps of Cadets is the guardians, keepers of the spirit, guardians of tradition. And I think that is a forefront idea. I think on the executive side, we have that with Trey Bass as our Vice President, Traditions and Enrichment. But I think we do need to understand that we need to target specific individuals and specific groups. Certain demographics aren't well represented in our student government. I think that's another aspect that is a part of this committee. It's culture and traditions and culture. We need to focus as well as on our international students, our first generation students. Texas A&M has 25% students are Hispanic. We are a Hispanic serving institute. We are also 25% of our students are first generation college students. We have large groups of minority students that aren't necessarily visible when it comes to our student government that we need to outreach to. And I stand with candidate 3 for that reason. So with that, I yield my time to the great senator over there.
Seeing that Senator Von Wupperfeld has been yielded to, you will have 30 seconds beginning at Howdy.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Senator Von Wupperfeld on campus caucus. One thing that I would like to highlight just from watching the 3 candidates is that candidate 3 is clearly a doer. She does it for the love of the game already. I mean, she's already in these things. She's in the big event. She is in Aggie Spirit. I mean, she's already committed to these traditions. And I think that being able to say.
Please wrap up in 1 sentence or less.
And what I'm going to continue doing is better than going to say, well, this is what I would love to do. Thank you.
With that, we will now move into the second round of debate for candidate 1. Do I see any debate for candidate 1? I see Chair Patel. You'll have 2.5 minutes beginning at Howdy.
Hi, Senate.
Howdy.
Chairman Patel, Constituency Affairs. I have a memory that I want to recount to y'all regarding candidate 1. I was having a conversation in this very room with Chairman Armstrong, Rules and Regulations Chairman the year past. And candidate 1 came out to us and was very excited to learn about the role of senator and how she could do just an amazing job as a senator. And what she said to introduce was, so I started reading the code and I'm about a third of the way there. And I don't know if y'all have read the code, it's like 250 pages long. And this was maybe a meeting into the 77th session, which I think is just a great example of the go-getter attitude that candidate one has. Y'all clearly saw her passion she has for traditions and for this institution, for this legislative body. I think that she's very capable and very motivated to take this new position and really run with it, do something new, do something special. I have full confidence in her ability to lead this new community well. I'm excited to see what she would do, and I urge y'all to vote for her. I yield my time to Jen Williams.
Seeing that Chair Williams has been yielded to, you'll have 1 minute and 24 seconds beginning at howdy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Chair Williams, Community Relations. I know you're probably sick of hearing me talk already. But one thing I do want to also speak on behalf of candidate one is if y'all were at City Hall on Tuesday, really sad you missed it. We had fun. But one thing that she did that really stood out to me was she rallied so many students to come to City Hall and to ask the questions that they needed answered. She didn't go ask it for them and then relay what she wanted to. She wanted them to make sure that their voice was heard. And I think that's exactly what this committee is meant to do. It's to where all of our students are heard, they're represented, and our traditions stay true. And another thing on traditions, I mean, did y'all hear that 20-second pitch that she gave on Lester? I thought that was pretty incredible. I probably couldn't do that, but candidate one is just, she's so enthusiastic all the time. And she just loves doing what she does best, and that is promoting students and lifting their voices and strengthening them, knowing that they are seen and heard. And with that, I yield my time to the floor.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, we'll now move into the second round of debate for candidate two. Do I see any debate for candidate two? I see Senator Allen. We'll have 2 minutes and 30 seconds beginning at howdy. Howdy.
Howdy.
Senator Allen, Architecture and Fine Arts. I'd like to just take a moment and really drive home how deeply ingrained traditions are in the Corps of Cadets. Not only is candidate two an extremely enthusiastic and kind person and just has this vigor for life, but also the Corps of Cadets itself. This university was for almost 100 years cadets only, and that's something that just absolutely cannot be recreated. The history and traditions that are so ingrained in the Corps, and I know we keep saying it, but I really just want to hit it home to you, cannot be replicated in any environment outside the Corps. You wake up to when you go to bed, traditions. One of the other candidates earlier this evening even mentioned how Corps of Cadets members are just wealths of knowledge on all things traditions. Bonfire specifically, when it comes to mind, 8 of the 12 victims of bonfire were cadets. So it's something that really just carries a lot of personal meaning to each and every cadet. It is something that we wear on our bodies all the time. We walk around campus. When I was a freshman last year, would get asked all kinds of questions because people see the uniform and they assume something about you. They assume that you carry with you a love for the university, a love for our traditions. And I know that candidate two carries that love for traditions as well. And I believe he will be a great fit for this position. Thank you. I yield to Senator. Kim. Thank you. Chair Kim.
Seeing that Chair Kim has been yielded to, you'll have 1 minute and 7 seconds beginning at howdy.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy. Chair Kim, Academic Affairs. I don't want to belabor the Corps of Cadets point again, but real quick, touching on the 8 out of 12. One of those victims of the bonfire collapse was Christopher David Green, who is a member of Squadron 12, which is the unit that candidate two and I come from. I just wanted to point that out, which is part of the reason our unit is so deeply ingrained in bonfire traditions. Regardless of, we've already mentioned plenty about the Corps of Cadets and the Guardians of Tradition aspect. However, candidate two is not just a cadet. He is a senator from the College of Engineering. He's an involved senator from the College of Engineering. He participates. He's currently on my committee in academic affairs. We've recently talked about, and actually today I talked to him about the new faculty senate and how we're trying to get new faculty members part of the Aggie, welcome them to part of the Aggie family. And now we're even talking about transfer students. I know international students were brought up.
Please wrap up in 1 sentence or less.
He'll be more than just a cadet. He'll be a chairman for students, faculty, and all items.
Good sense.
With that, I will now move into the second round of debate for candidate 3. Do I see any debate for candidate 3? I see Senator Adams.
Senator Adam off campus caucus. The first time I met candidate 3 was actually at tabling for muster. And before I knew her as a senator, before I knew her anything else, we started a conversation with passerbys about muster. She was so deeply motivated to just tell them why that trip was so important. And whenever we had downtime, I got talking with her about the things that we wanted to do in our respective organization when it came to serving others and like philanthropically. And I just think she's someone who's passionate, she's others focused, and she has all of these different things on her resume, all of these different areas of campus that she's been in, her background. And I think that just speaks so much to the people we want to represent, especially in traditions and culture, getting Abbeys from all over campus willing to engage in these traditions. What better way than to be already connected to so many of them? And I think she will do this well, and I think she'll do this with others in mind. And so that is why I'm supporting candidate 3, and I was supposed to be here for her character witness, but at time 327, unfortunately. So with that, I yield to the board.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, this concludes debate. We will now move into a period of voting. We will attempt to this via standing vote led by EDO Squire. So for the new people, whenever we say the name of the number of the candidate that you want to vote for, you'll rise as you are able and sit down. So all those in favor of candidate 1, please rise as you are able. Candidate 2. And candidate 3. Brief stand at ease, please be quiet. Alright, so. None of our nominees reached a majority vote, so we will now have a runoff between candidate 1 and candidate 3. We will move into 2 rounds of debate. The same rules of debate apply. So we will have 2 rounds for candidate 1, 2 rounds for candidate 2. You don't say their name, you don't say anything negative toward the candidate. Does everyone understand? Okay, we will now move into the first round of debate for candidate 1. Do I see any debate for candidate 1? I see Chair Horton. You have 2.5 minutes beginning at Howdy.
Chair Board Girls and Regs, so candidate 1, as I previously said, I think is the best person for this job. I think that all 3 have been very good options, not all very much. But it is my belief that candidate 1 has the most experience to actually get this job done. 1 having served in Senate the longest out of any of these, she's more familiar with how things work, what the rules are, what the procedures are, how to get legislation passed. I think that's great. As well, there's been a lot of discussion about international students. Candidate 1 has been involved in Aggie Nations, which is an SGA organization now that works with international students and brings them in to teach them about our A&M ways of life, our traditions, our core values, and all the great things that makes A&M, Texas, America. I can't say how much I love candidate 1 and think she'll be great for the job, but that I yield to.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, we will now move into the first round debate for candidate 3. Do I see any debate for candidate 3? I see Chair Hurd. We'll have 2.5 minutes beginning at Howdy.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Chair Hurt, LR, we're getting a little sleepy, it's been a long election. But I want to say though, I think that we need to again go into weighing alternatives. I think candidate 3 has very well qualified. I think being only just a sophomore is already more involved than I was in my little tiny pinky my freshman year. I was just in some Senate and flow, so she runs miles around. I think most of us in here being sophomores. So I think that that's something that we do need to consider, that she actually does have connections. She has the experience. I think if we're talking about experience, no experience is greater than lived experience. Herself coming from Mexico, being an international student, I think again provides that insight. I would like to note that we do not have done an LR with the first gen bill, the first gen student plus myself didn't speak on it. I think we need to understand that progress is needed when it comes to including everyone on this campus, but also protecting our traditions and our culture. That's the whole point of this entire committee. And I think she does a fantastic job with this whole Ask a Cadet program. I'm very curious to see how this actually gets rolled out, working with the Corps cadets. I think this is something that, again, is a unifying matter. I also think though that we need to focus on our international first gen students, that she has the actual experience of, which I am proud to support. With that, I yield to Senator Hargrove.
Seeing that Senator Hargrove has been yielded to, you'll have 1 minute and 7 seconds beginning at Howdy.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
College of Education and Human Development, Senator Hargrove. I'm here to talk about my good friend, candidate 3. I urge each and every single one of you to vote for her. She is an outstanding person of character, one that puts up with me, which is a lot to say. She is very dedicated to tradition. She's very dedicated to this university. She works hard every day to make sure everybody's included, and not only our traditions, but our events around campus. She's somebody that's innovative, passionate, and I know if she's in this chair position, candidate 3 would do an amazing job. So to ensure that our traditions are as accessible and available as possible for our student body here. And she will also advocate for the community and the culture here on our campus. She is an amazing combination of traditions and culture, and I urge each and every single one of you to vote for candidate 3. With that, I yield my time to the floor.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, we will now move into the second round of debate for candidate 1. I see Senator Sloan.
Senator Sloan, off-campus caucus, I move to previous question.
Second.
Seeing that a motion has been made and seconded.
Yes.
They require a majority vote. We will do this via general consent. Do I see any objection to the motion? Seeing none, this motion does pass. We will now move into a period of voting. We are only voting on candidate 1 and candidate 3. All those in favor of candidate 1, please rise to your feet. Candidate 3. By a vote of 28 to 24, candidate 1 is elected as our new traditions and culture. They will now be sworn in by our Chief Justice.
Please raise your right hand. I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Lauren Teets, do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of Chair of Traditions and Culture
the duties of the office of Chair of Traditions and Culture
for Texas A&M University Student Government Association,
for Texas A&M University Student Government Association,
to uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same,
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body,
and to promote good relations between the students
to promote good relations between the students
and those concerned with the university.
and those concerned.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right. With that, our IA has voted to place the confirmation of the accessibility subcommittee chairman on the agenda. So we will now move into the confirmation of Chair Willis as our subcommittee chair. He will be introduced by Chair Chu.
Mr. Chair, well, 5 minutes, so it's no debate, no Q and A. Just you.
Okay, Chair Chu will have 5 minutes beginning at howdy.
Howdy, Senate. Chair Chu, Student Services. So I'm here to present about the new subcommittee that we have going on within the Student Services Committee, called the Accessibility Subcommittee. This is in order to tackle all of the specific discrepancies that we've been encountering when it comes to anything from disability resources or accessibility resources as well. And it's something that I will say out loud, I mean, it's something I need help with because of how niche it is and because of how specific these can get. And also, I'm not very, my expertise isn't really in that well. But Senator Willis, on the other hand, has whenever he showed me his resume, it was honestly pretty crazy. One thing I want to highlight specifically about Senator Willis is that he serves on the Governor Abbott's committee, for disability committee, and that is a pretty big staple that he has on his resume, specifically because he's the youngest on that committee. And we're talking about the whole state of Texas here, so a lot of people, a big state. And having someone like him chair this subcommittee will not only help myself, that's probably the least on my priorities, it'll help students more than anything. So with that, I'm open to any questions that y'all have.
There's no questions.
There's no questions, I'm just presenting.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
No, we'll vote.
then that's my main reason for having him as a chair.
All right, we thank him for his time. We will now move into a period of voting. We will essentially just be at a standing vote led by EDO Schroyer. All those in favor of the confirmation of our accessibility subcommittee chair, please rise as you are able. All those opposed? By a vote of 52 to 0. Our new chairman is confirmed.
Please raise your right hand. I state your name, do solemnly swear.
I, Benjamin Lewis, do solemnly swear.
To faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
Faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
The duties of the office of accessibility subcommittee chairman.
The
I can do it, sorry. The duties of the office of accessibility subcommittee chairman.
The duties of the office of accessibility subcommittee chairman.
For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
To uphold the honor of the same.
To uphold the honor of the same.
At all times to protect the welfare of the student body.
At all times to protect the welfare of the student body.
To promote good relations between the students.
And to promote good relations with the students.
And those concerned with the university.
And those concerned with the university.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right, with that, we will now move into a period of old business. We will move into the second reading of SB 7801, the SGA budget fiscal year 2026 bill. Will the sponsor of the piece please come to the floor?
Yes.
You'll have 10 minutes beginning at home.
Hi, Senate.
Hi.
How are y'all doing tonight? Awesome. I mean, it had a good night.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Before this.
Yeah. Right. My name is Cole Sloan. I've been deputized tonight to speak on behalf of Chair Wrights, Finance Committee. First off, I'm seeking friendly amendments or whatever it's.
I see Chair Williams.
Chair Williams, Community Relations, I'd like to propose a friendly amendment to reallocate the total of $2,250 from the representation committee and move it to FishAid's essential ag benefit.
Bit of information on speakers.
Say your point.
Senator Hurt, Chair Hurt, sorry. Chair Hurt, Belmar, this is out of order, seeing that this is a special matter.
Gonna refer to Chair Horton on this one.
Chair Horton, rules and regs. In my opinion, that is not the reason why Chair Williams' motion was out of order, because whenever he's gonna make a friendly amendment, it needs to be during Q&A. And Senator Sloan did not open himself up for questioning, but you can make amendments on budgets. Friendly amendments would be no different.
These order on my end. Okay, well, I'm just gonna address the friendly amendment while we're on it and like the reason behind, because that seems kind of rash, last minute. Just kind of wrote down what I wanted to say. The reason that we're looking at, and wanting to reallocate that money is not to take money away from the Representation Commission, but it's to help the Essential Ag Banquets, which if y'all haven't heard of that, it's a banquet that Fish Aids throws every year in the Bethencourt Ballroom at the MSC for custodians, essential food workers, and other essential items here on campus. They partner with the REACH project, and while we were doing allocations, we did not know that they had upfront costs that were needing to be paid this semester. So after talking with SVP Mallory, members of his executive cabinet, we thought that it might be best to go ahead and reallocate that money and allow exec to fully fund the Representation Commission until we get to the next allocation process, which will get in the semester, hopefully, for another $60,000, where we will fully fund the Representation Commission. So friendly amendment is, it has nothing to do with wanting to defund representation. They have a lot of needs to be met financially, and we're working with exec to make sure that that happens, while also ensuring that the Essential Ag Banquet is able to happen. It's able to be the best Ag Banquet so far. So
Open the question.
I'm open for questions.
I see Chair Horton.
So, do you still want to make Carter an author so he can speak? It's good.
I see Chair Williams.
I would just like to propose a friendly amendment, and just the friendly amendment to reallocate the $2,250 from the Representation Committee to the Bishop Aggie Essential Banquet. So.
You just say yes.
Yep.
Amen.
We see any other questions for our presenter? I see Senator Von Wupperfeld.
On campus process, I'm just a little bit confused about this friendly amendment. Does Representation Commission know the representation?
Yes, absolutely.
They're cool with it.
Yes, I'm not sure if SVP Mallory is allowed to talk. I would let, he's not allowed to talk. Okay, well, spoke with him, and like I said, this executive cabinet, I personally talked to the commissioner myself. He has talked to the commissioner. It's all fine and dandy. From what I've been communicated, like I said, they're willing to fully fund and use execs money to fund the Representation Commission until we do this next reallocation process. Another big reason why this Essential Ag Banquet specifically is because Fish Aids doesn't have any endowments or anything like that in order to pay the things that need to be paid over the course of this semester for the Essential Ag Banquet. They would have to go and outside fundraise through the Association of Former Students. They've already had to have those kinds of conversations with them. Whereas this would essentially fix that problem. So no one would be lacking any money. They would be fully funded, Fish Aids would be fully funded. We've received no appeals. And so, I mean, in my mind, robbing Peter to pay Paul, I mean, it doesn't make a difference where the money comes from, whether it's from exec or whether it's from us. It's all going in the same places. They've committed to pay what needs to be paid for the Representation Commission. Also, the commissioner is on SVP Mallory's cabinet, and so that makes this a lot easier. I mean, everybody's getting money that they need, and this is just to ensure that Fish Aids is able to pay necessary amounts.
I see Chair Hurt.
Sure, LR, does this give the precedent that the LR commission can be funded, then just move funding because they're also a commission?
I have no idea what precedent this could set. The main thing is that the SVP is fully on board with funding the representation commission. I don't think the LR and representation, they might have the same designation. I can't imagine a world where the SVP would put someone on his cabinet and then neglect to fund that commission or that VP's duties. I mean, I think that this is just kind of a one-off thing for, I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it because everybody's doing what they need.
Senator Vivanco.
Senator Rebalco, question preface.
Briefly.
I was in a flow last year, most of my friends were in a flow last year, and most flows do just fundraise. Why should Fish Aids not be able to just fundraise for that funding?
Yeah.
Because like profit sharing and stuff are also an option, so.
Yeah, I would say that the answer to that is because they're under our purview. A lot of organizations that help out with the Essential Ag Banquet, but to me, it's one of the least known about starting traditions. I think that's something that SGA should take a step into. Obviously, Essential Ag Needs, I think we can all get on board that they're probably the most underserved group on this campus. And I think that this specifically is one of the best uses of our finances in terms of going towards an event that we could possibly spend our money on. Because it's selfless, I think it aligns with all of our values. But the question on flows, they have to fundraise for different things that we don't give them money for. They do all sorts of stuff, you know, that all regular flows do. But since this specific event falls under our purview, and I would believe that the student senate, if y'all, you know, vote for this bill, will allow.
To extend the period of question and answer minutes.
How many minutes? How many?
2.
Okay. Seeing that a motion has been made and seconded, it is debatable and amendable as the time and will require a majority vote. We will begin with debate for this motion. Do I see any debate for this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the first round of debate against this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate for this motion. Do I see any debate for this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate against this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of voting on this motion. This will require 2/3 majority vote. We will attempt to do this via general consent. Do I see any objection to extending time by 2 minutes? Seeing none, this motion does pass.
Yeah, sum it up. I think that this is something that should y'all vote for this bill. I think it'd be an expression of student senate thinking that, hey, maybe like we should indefinitely do the Essential Ag Needs Banquet. And I don't think this sets any precedent in terms of any other SGA commission or committee. I think that this is a one-off deal that we were not informed that they would have these kinds of expenditures. In all transparency, we thought as the finance committee, we would have a lot more money than we did at the time. And so our thoughts were whenever we were doing the allocation process were let's pay for everything that needs to be paid for during the fall until we get that next $60,000. Well, it comes to our attention that thousands of dollars are needing to be paid and fundraised for a very worthy cause. And while, you know, during that process, it should be communicated to us. The finance committee and people I've talked to, don't think that that's worth neglecting this amazing thing.
Thank you.
Of course.
I see Senator Hargrove.
Senator Hargrove, College for Education and Human Development, would you support a bill tasking the student body president to allocate funds towards representation commission?
I think that since he is already committed to it, I'll take him at his word. I personally, as Senator Sloan, trust him. Whenever he says that he's going to do something that he will do, I think that his word to me is good enough. If student senate wants to task him with doing that, I think that that's always a slippery slope, because then we'll just start tasking. For things, you know, that he's already committed to doing. I wouldn't want to overwhelm him with a bunch of tasks, but like I said, I trust him at his word that he would fund it fully. And that's what he's been communicating to me, that's what he's communicating to Christian.
And point of information directed towards SPT Cardinal. Would you be okay with potentially us writing a bill that would task you to allocate funds to representation?
I see Senator Holy.
Senator Owen, College of Ag and Life Sciences, I just want to know your thoughts on how ironic it is that here we are, a little SGA.
Just wrap up, Bill.
Fiscal year, when the federal government is shut down.
No, I would like your government to, maybe get funded, my political opinions are pretty harsh on the matter currently.
Please wrap up.
Are you infringing on
No. Okay, seeing that debate, or seeing that question and answer has now concluded, we thank him for his time.
I usually do this,
We will now move into debate on this piece. We will begin with debate for this piece. Do I see any debate for this piece? I see Senator Adams.
Yeah.
We'll have 2 minutes and 30 seconds beginning at Howdy.
Howdy, Senator Adams, off-campus caucus. So, to kind of continue on what Cole was saying, we were under the assumption that we had a total budget to allocate of about $130,000 for the entire year. However, that was not the case. And so all of these different student organizations were requesting money that corresponded with the percentage budget increase. So some of these organizations came back and requested budgets that were 150% more last year. And so because of that, that is why we decided to start funding events that were happening this semester and wait for those funds to come in last semester. I think that this is a very worthy thing to remove funds for, and since everything is gonna be paid for no matter what, and because we have confirmation, verbal confirmation at least, I think that this is worth getting passed and for of that. I will leave it.
Seeing that Chair Horton has been yielded to, you'll have 1 minute and 30 seconds beginning at Howdy.
Report the rules and regs. Howdy.
First
of all, I'd like to say that this is something we absolutely need to do. We need to get official this money so they can serve Central Aggies. The second thing I'd like to comment about is there have been a lot of questions, too many questions on the character of SVP Mallory, and trying to impugn this character and call him into doubt on his integrity of promises. I've known this man for about half a year now, and I can say he's one of the most honest, most trustworthy, honestly, one of the greatest people. He's gonna carry through with his promises. If you're worried about the Diversity Commission not getting their money, they will get your money. You can trust in that because we have a good student body president. They yield to Derek King.
Seeing that Chair Kim has been yielded to, you'll have 45 seconds beginning at Howdy.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Third time I think it's fair's kind of bouncing off the point that everybody made so far. I believe out of sake of efficiency, I highly doubt the student body president will commit openly to a senator and in front of the whole Senate on something like this and then go back on it. I do believe in principle, I could see the argument of where the Senate would pass a bill to enforce that with the student body president. However, I strongly believe that for the sake of efficiency, we should just get on and vote for this bill. Or Bill, yes, there we go. I yield my time.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, you'll now move into the first round of debate against this piece. I see Chair Hurt. You'll have 2.5 minutes beginning at Howdy.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Chair Hurt, LR. I was reading an article from the Babylon Ag saying, student government shutdown, really. So I'm going to stand right here and just talk a little bit about why we should not be funding student government. I think with this, I think this friendly amendment lacks transparency. I'm not here to call into question of anyone's character, but the fact is, I've been told one thing from the director of fisheries, I've been told another one thing from the chair, the commissioner of representation commission. They both said that they don't need a chair, the fish aids does not need the money right now. That representation does, representation also says that they do not agree to this process, that they've already gone through financial department. I say on principle alone that we are the ones that, and might I add, for our new senators, we are taking the J court over the same exact issue actually, in fact. Representation, formerly known as diversity commission, not being funded, and then fish aids having a little amount of funds. So I want us to repeat this factor. If we are going to learn from our lessons to prevent J court cases, I think we need to understand we should fight for transparency in government. Amend this friendly amendment, get rid of it, keep the old bills, fund our government, please don't be in favor of this whole process. I also want to say on the transparency effort again, our financial budget was passed only open session, not even the full reading was committed for it. Be honest. For 1 second, have you looked at the budget? No candidates. Come on, Senator. Okay. Then you also have to raise the next question. Do you think this process is fair to the commissioner? Do they have a right to challenge or petition? We said there was no petitions because they agreed to the funds. But then we say, okay, forget about it. We're going to friendly amendment outlays. You don't have any input. Silencing the commission. Think about it again. How would you feel? It's not about politics. It's not about your viewpoints on diversity or inclusion or anything of the sorts. It's not matter or not if you want to fund fish aids or not. Just on principle alone. I don't lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. But we do tolerate us silencing those who want to speak out for their position. That's what we are essentially saying. So think about that. Think about this remedy for 1 sec. With that, I yield to the floor.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, we will now move into the second round of debate for this piece. Do I see any debate for this piece? I see Chair Chu.
Hi, Senate. Hi. Chair Chu, Student Services, I'll make this quick. I think it doesn't get much more transparent than doing exactly what we're doing here, bringing it in front of everybody, showing that we're actually, not trying to do this behind closed doors. I mean, the friendly amendment was done in front of everybody. And furthermore, the right people have been contacted about this, and I think for the timing of everything, we should do this. It's to serve the student body at the end of the day. We're serving a fish aids with doing this. And if we don't do this in a timely manner, then it will, not happen. Their bank won't happen. Or at least not in the specific term that it's supposed to. With that, I yield to Chair Horton.
Seeing that Chair Warren has been yielded to, you have 1 minute and 43 seconds beginning at House.
Chair Horton, Rules and Regs, howdy. Is it not awesome that whenever a vote happens that we don't like, we can go sue in J court, and that's our first action, so just listen to what the voice of the student body, the student senate says. I think this is a very transparent process. People are watching online, we have a quorum of senators in this room to make this decision. And instead of threatening to sue over something they don't like, I believe that opponents of this bill can make an amendment and try to change this democratically instead of using law bans. With that, I yield to.
Seeing that Senator Hargrove has been yielded to, you have 57 seconds beginning at Howdy.
Howdy. Senator Hargrove, College of Education and Youth Development. I just got done contacting Chloe Ramirez, the representation commissioner. She has okayed this to go forward with the amendment, so I urge each of you to vote for this. We have SVP Mallory's word. If not, I've impeached the president before. We can do it. Anyways.
You're out of order. Will you sit down?
Yes.
Okay, we will now move into the second round of debate against this piece. Do I see any debate against this piece? I see Chair Hurt.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Hello, our chair, Chair Hurt. Commissioners can't take this, they can't amend the process, they're not senior, that's the legislative process, so. The commissioner's not here to voice his opinion, again, if she has a problem with this, she can't take it to J court. But who's she taking to J court? It's not gonna be the executive, it's going to be us. Once again, harming our reputation. Once again, reinforcing what many people have already said. This diabolical plan that student government is trying to defund representation. This needs to be the entire conundrum, I guess, even though it's not true. But again, that's the perception. I want us to understand that we need to understand the actual perception of this as well. On top of
Madam
that,
Speaker, I have a parliamentary inquiry. How many times can a person debate for a motion?
Two. Whatever you want. It's on two.
Right, yeah.
Okay, keep going.
okay, yeah. I just again want to reinforce this. But on top of that, that's all I can say, that is.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, debate has concluded, and we will now move into voting on this piece. Wait, are we on the motion? We're on the motion. We'll now move into a period of voting on the motion. All of those in favor of the motion, so this is in favor of, right? Of the friendly amendment, this is in favor of the friendly.
No, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Okay.
This is the piece.
We are now, I was right the first time.
Yeah.
We are going to vote on the piece, so we're voting on the whole piece as a whole. All those in favor of the passage of SB 7801, the SGA budget fiscal year 2026, go please rise as you already did. All those opposed? By a vote of 50 to 2, this piece does pass. With that, we're now going to move into a period of new business, beginning with SA 7804, the Hargrove Act, with the author of the piece, please come to the floor. We'll have 10 minutes beginning at 1.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Senator Hargrove, College of Education and Human Development. I would first like to thank Speaker Justino for her work tonight. And also assigning this act number 4, which is my favorite number. But this is the Hargrove Act. So if you don't know already, we normally use this term, the code, in the student senate. Well, did you know that the code doesn't exist? Isn't that crazy? Well, if you're like me and you're a senator back from the 75th session, which I'm pretty sure I'm the only one left, except for Senator Patel up there, who's a fish aide, we actually passed an act to break up our code into 5 separate documents. And so the 215-page document that we use right now, we don't have that anymore. It's not in our code, so to speak. So if you will, please scroll down just a little bit. That's one of the major changes that we're enforcing, but I have completely rewritten Article 4 of the Senate bylaws. I didn't really move much, but I wanted to define what a senator was before we defined what officers were. Mostly because you have to be a senator to be an officer only makes the most perfect sense. Additionally, the requirements for being a senator, I expanded them a little bit to add that you actually have to reside in a residency, that you actually have to be a senator in a caucus. Right here, if a senator is elected in the center of spring elections to a caucus in which they anticipated entering, but did not become a member of that caucus by the start of the fall semester, their seat will be forfeited. That's one of the big changes. If you say that you're going to be in a caucus, you end up not being in that caucus, you shouldn't have a seat. You shouldn't be representing that college, that constituency, that residential area. And that's just one of the big changes that this act creates. If you'll scroll down, and y'all probably won't think I'm crazy because it's 32 pages long. I might have set a record, but if you'll scroll back up really quick. One of the big things here, I combined our apportionment, and reapportionment into one section and just titled it apportionment. And one thing I really want to add this year is the TAPS conference. For those of you who may have heard of this before, this is Transition Academic Programs. At this university, over 3,000 students represent this area. This is our blend team students, this is our RELA students, this is our general studies students, this is our university studies students. And these students aren't represented at all in our Senate body. 3,000 students. That's why I want to add this TAPS caucus. If you'll scroll down just a little bit, it's on the next page. I forget which page it's on, but it's on this right here. Transition Academic Programs, 3 at-large senators. I've already portioned it using our formula, but that is one of the big changes. Additionally, allowing the Corps of Cadets, some Corps of Cadets officers, members also live off campus. They are eligible now for both on and off campus. Excuse me, not on campus, but Corps of Cadets and off campus. And then there's a lot of changes, so I won't get to them all, but if you'll scroll down continually.
Just tell me one.
Just keep going. This is all apportionment, combined it. Right here. I did not like the formatting here. I changed it because I wanted to. Duties of the officers. I didn't change any of the duties. I just combined them all together to make them look more uniform. You'll scroll down, each of them looks pretty uniform. Keep scrolling. Past these ones, keep scrolling. Right here. If you look, each of them work directly with the executive cabinet's counterpart. That's how we started every single one of these. Over the past several years, a lot of people have changed positions, duties, roles. They don't look uniform anymore. I did not change any of these duties at all. Just so you know, I only changed the way that these were formatted. If you'll continue scrolling and maybe a little bit more scrolling. Caucus leaders, right here. Caucus leaders are listed as an officer of the Senate, but they're not really. They're not listed in our officers either, but they're in the same section. So I thought it just right to give caucus leaders their own section. I did cut down some of the very redundant wording that is in that section. So if you'll keep scrolling, there's a little bit there. That's all the old stuff. And right here, attendance. A lot of redundant, confusing verbiage in our attendance. I didn't change anything again. I just condensed it to make it look nicer. Looks more beautiful if you go in the code right now. It looks pretty rough. If you'll keep scrolling. Sorry, this is gonna be a boring presentation, y'all. I'm trying. Right about here, we have a couple of word changes. There's a lot of bad verbs and stuff that aren't used correctly. Right here, some changes to our archives. Did you know that the Cody T. Vasuit archives aren't defined in our code? Well, they are now with this act. If we keep scrolling, this is just giving some duties for posting meetings. We've never really posted meetings a lot or had regulations on that before. This is just to add that extra step of accountability and responsibility. If you'll keep scrolling, just more about that. Right here, this is the important stuff. Just scroll back up. About let it be enacted, I think it's 9. Keep scrolling. Yeah, right there. Guess what? We no longer need a physical form of the SGA code because we haven't done that in several years. So that's a little redundant. A little bit above that as well. Executive cabinet no longer needs to write their own reports. I've done this when I was on exec every time, never made it to the Senate floor. So how many of you have actually read an executive cabinet report before? My pointing list. Wonderful. Oh, sorry, Eli's back there. He was in the 75th. If you'll scroll down a little bit. This is the enforcement for the Coles Act or the condensement. Scroll back up. I forget the first word. The Constitutional Organization and Associated Legal Standards Act, Coles Act, which was introduced by Speaker Tyler Smith in the 75th session, was never enacted. We should have 5 separate documents, which are the SGA Constitution, the Senate bylaws, judicial bylaws, executive bylaws, and then everything else that doesn't fit in there is what's considered the code. Additionally, I did add university excused absences back in the 76th session. That act somehow never made it in the code. I asked that to be put in there. And then for the remainder of the 78th session, the Rules and Regulations Chair has the ability to put punctuation, commas, periods, grammar fixes, formatting issues. That's pretty much it. Big synopsis. I'm open for questions.
All right, with that, our presenter is now open for a 5-minute period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for our presenter? Seeing none. Oh, seeing none, we take it first time. You patient for us. All right, with that, we are now moving into first reading of SB 7802, the A&I bill.
Point of information, parliamentary authority.
Say your point?
What committee are we moving this to?
Oh, sorry, this is going to rules and regs. Will the author or a sponsor please come to the floor?
Sorry. Howdy, Sheriff Horton, R&R. So I'll be quick, I'll be quick about this. This is the accountability and integrity bill. And more or less, what the gist of this is this is a bill, not an act, it's not a permanent change to the code. This will create a specific committee within the student senate called the Senate Select Senate Oversight Committee. It will be given investigatory powers to essentially look at what SGA is doing, hold them accountable, ensure we are effectively serving students. There's a lot written out here. Please come to my rules committee meeting next week. We're gonna hammer out some further details, get some things done. I already talked with Zet about some ideas we have for it. But more or less, the idea is that we are the voice of the student body. And it is our job, as the voice of the student body, to hold SGA accountable. At its current state, SVP Mallory, the rest of the staff have done a great job of leading this organization. But throughout SGA's history, we have had where different committees end up faltering and aren't really successful, as you've seen with Aggies and Mentors, Alternative Free Break. It is my belief that if we had additional eyes on them, such as a Senate committee directly looking at what these executive committees and functions of SGA did, then we would be able to further help hold them accountable and help them where they need it and get them the support and resources that we need. As well, we should be able to look in formally to any wrongdoing within SGA and with its committees as well. There's currently no Senate committee that's charged with this. There's other schools such as LSU or Florida that have similar ethics or oversight committees that carry out these functions. And I think with this bill, it'd be a great test run to see if we like it, if it works, if it's really going to impact A&M and really bolster SGA as a whole. I'd like to say this is an experiment. This is something I want to try out. This is something I've been brainstorming since the summer. So that, I know for questions, encourage you all to come to the committee meeting next week.
The authors are open for a 5-minute period of question and answer. Senator Vagonka.
Senator Vagonka, Bush Pool, why would the chair, if they're like commercial trumpets,
Briefly.
if this is the person acting as a chair, kind of as a trial run states to something you'd like to add in future sessions, why shouldn't they be privy to the internal affairs committee meetings?
This is pretty much the same. We can allow them to be there, but the whole point is to make it where, you know, it's not to change the code. They will not be a permanent IA member unless we change this. That's my idea. This is a test run. This is essentially a group of senators given specific power for this specific purpose to serve the student body.
Chair Hurt.
Sure, LR, I wanna see what's the distinction between just like the executive process of overlooking and they have their own overwatch for their committees. How is this distinct between that?
Yeah, and that's a great question. That's a question I've been asked. So with the executive review process they have for committees, that goes in to look at a couple of different things. I can't list them off the top of my head, but they're all within the executive bylaws if you'd like to take a look. It's pretty much executives' internal self-checks on what they're doing and pretty much seeing if they're functioning. So like what we saw with this would be the eventual recommendation for removal of Alternative Spring Break and Aggie Mentor since they started to become fun. Well, the idea of this committee is that this works along the process to ensure that those committees are operating effectively and the services of SGA are carried out properly and we hold everyone accountable. This is not to be attacked against any current person who's leading a committee or an exec. This is just to be an institutional check for 17 years down the line if we need it. And I want to test out now if this is something that can actually serve us.
Senator Willis,
Point of parliamentary inquiry, Senator Willis on campus topic.
state your point.
Aren't IA meetings open to any senator, or at least the majority of them?
They are open to senators, it's just in an executive session where we're approving absences that they cannot be. So they would still, this chair would still have the ability, that's a great point that Senator Willis brings up. They still have the ability to attend the meetings, but just they'd already want to be able to vote. So there's really not much reason to be in the spot where IA is voting.
Senator Vivanka,
Senator Bronco Bushful, what pushed you to believe that this is necessary? And how has you seen this work at other schools that you want to bring?
So you say, how does this work? And what will it do? Well, I think, it really, you look at, like House Oversight Committee, where they look at what this government is doing and see how it operates and sees that the actions and programs and operations of it are best serving the taxpayers in a way that is productive. And I think that's what this committee would, except for students, not taxpayers, because we don't tax them yet, and I hope we never do.
Senator Hargrove,
Senator Hargrove, College of Education and Human Development, we're just on briefly.
briefly.
I'm a big fan of legislative supremacy, but do you think the student senate should have oversight over specifically the judicial court area?
I think that's something that's open for discussion, and I'd love for you to come to my meeting, which I assume you will be because you have your bill in there. And kind of talk about that. I think that as the voice of the student body, it is our job to hold the rest of SGA accountable. That means even ourselves too. But I believe this is more outward focusing, looking at exact, we definitely can look at what the judiciary is doing. But we'll hear what the judiciary is doing from Chief Justice Wakefield later.
Chairperson.
Chairman Patel, Constituency Affairs, I just have a little bit of a semantic question, I'm not as educated on rules as you are. It says, this committee shall be granted all powers and privileges deemed necessary by the committee, I was wondering what that means.
So me and SPC Mallory have already been talking through that. Let it be enacted 3 is likely gonna be changed. The intent behind this was pretty much give the committee the powers to do their job that they do. And on further review and looking at it, maybe it's too much of a carte blanche to give them whatever power they see within the code to take. And that was something that was an oversight on my part, and that is something that will most likely change in committee.
I see Senator Willis.
Senator Willis on campus caucus. Why is this a committee and not a subcommittee?
Please wrap up in 1 sentence or less.
There's been a committee that currently has the challenge the test run to see if this power can be properly used within the concept of a committee. Thank you.
With that, this piece will be going to the rules and regulations. Nice. We are now moving into a period of open session. The floor is now open for motions. Do I see any motions? I see Chair Teets.
Chair Teets, T&C, I move that we consider readily tonight's members' resolution.
Second.
Seeing that a motion has been made and seconded, it is debatable and amendable or require a majority vote. We will begin with debate for this piece. Do I see any debate for the consideration of this piece? Seeing none, we will now move into the first round of debate against the consideration of this piece. Do I see any debate against? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate for the consideration. Do I see any debate for the consideration of this piece? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate against the consideration of this piece. Do I see any debate against the consideration of this piece? Seeing none is the opinion of the chair that debate has become one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting on this piece. We will attempt to do this via general consent. Do I see any objections to the consideration of this piece? Seeing none, this piece does pass, or this motion does pass. Will the author please come to the floor to present? We're getting it pulled up. Our EDO left, so we're getting it. Did you send it to him?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Brief stand at ease. Oh, we're back.
So that.
And we'll go back.
All right, you're now open for a 10-minute period of presentation beginning at Howdy Hall.
Your teams, TNC, howdy.
Howdy.
This is the resolution, remembrance resolution. I know it's been a very long night, however, there was an outpouring of support from the mascot company and from people that I spoke to who had interactions with Rev 9. And so I think that their impact and effort deserves a moment on the floor, and honestly, she does as well. So, Beverly 9 Remembrance Resolution. Whereas Beverly 9 faithfully served as the First Lady of Aggieland from May 9th, 2015 until her retirement on April 30th, 2021, embodying the spirit of Aggieland with her dignified presence, her joyful companionship, and her unwavering dedication to Texas A&M University. And whereas Beverly 9's life was a testament to the values that define Texas A&M University, and she made history during her service by being the first Reveille to have a female handler and the only Reveille to lead our university through the uncertainty of the global pandemic. And whereas Reveille 9 passed away on September 27th, 2025, leaving a lasting impact on all who were touched by her grace, loyalty, and spirit. And whereas the handlers and caretakers of Reveille 9, particularly those of Company E2, are fortunate to witness her growth from a shy puppy into a real and confident embodiment of Texas A&M University. And whereas E2 mascot corporals who had the honor of working with Reveille 9 have conveyed the depth of their admiration and love for her. When I first met Rev, she was timid and still adjusting after life as a show dog. She was independent, quirky, and determined to do things her own way. Over the summer, as we spent hours together at Home Depot, Little League games, and summer classes at Blinn, I got to see her personality truly emerge. By fall, she was ready to run out of the tunnel at Powell Field, visit classrooms, and connect with students in a way only she could. She became my best friend and a constant source of joy and loss. Some of my favorite moments were in front of crowds, with the quiet times when she would just be a dog. Bringing her home for the first time, walking her around the neighborhood, or watching movies with her head on my lap, the moments her personality truly showed. I loved getting to slow down with her and enjoy her company. School. From the start, it was clear she knew she was the queen of Aggieland, confident, regal, and full of personality. One of my favorite memories was walking her into the classroom at Texas A&M Galveston. The room went silent, then erupted in cheers at her excited bark. Before the professor could speak, students started packing up. The next class was over. Rev wasn't just a mascot. She was the queen, and everyone knew. Me. Some of my favorite memories were quieter ones, like taking her up to the observation tower at O&M so she could look out over campus as if keeping watch over the Aggie she loved. From trips to Texas Roadhouse to running proudly across Powell Field to celebrate birthdays with students, she lived the Aggie spirit every day and created bonds with everyone she met, from football legends to students, alumni, and fans alike. Right. When I became Rev's handler, she was already very well trained, and it quickly became very clear that she knew more about the floor than I did. She was remarkably intelligent, and her very presence demanded respect from everyone. I saw dogs as large as Great Danes power and seemingly valid presence. She was the queen. She knew it, and everyone else did it. My favorite memories with Rev did not necessarily revolve around working with her. I enjoyed letting her just be a dog. Sometimes we would take her to the crater that was Spence Park before it became Aggie Park and let her run and enjoy her freedom. We even taught her to play hide and seek in the corridors. I'll never forget how her tail would wag and how excited she would get after scouring the room to find me. While Rev definitely loved to sit in the front seat when she wanted by her, there's nothing she loved more than being the First Lady of Aggie. She was excellent, and Texas A&M was a better place because of her regal presence and dedication. Whereas, Company E2 as a whole reflected on the personal memories each member of the outfit had with her and the incredible spirit she carried that day. As E2, we had the honor of caring for Rev 9, guiding her through the traditions of Texas A&M and witnessing the incredible impact she had on the Aggie community. She was funny, curious, independent, loving, and unforgiving. She filled big shoes with grace, spirit, and heart, and her legacy will remain with all of us who are lucky enough. Therefore, let it be resolved, the Student Senate mourns the loss of Rev 9, cherishes her legacy, and commemorates her impact on all that she encountered. And let it be further resolved, the student senate on behalf of the student body extends its deepest gratitude and condolences to the handlers and caretakers of that time. Particularly to the member of the mascot company whose devotion to her was unwavering, whose bond with her was one of mutual love and respect. And to the staff of the Stevensby Companion Animal Life Care Center, whose continued service, companionship, and love for Reveille 9 was unparalleled. And let it be further resolved, the student senate remembers Reveille 9 not only as the first lady of Aggie, but as a beloved companion, symbol of loyalty, and cherished member of our Aggie family, whose legacy will continue to inspire generations of Aggies for years to come. And let it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to the following.
With that, our presenter is now open for a 5-minute period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for our presenter? Seeing none, we thank her for her time. We will now move into a period of debate on this piece. Beginning with debate for this piece, I see Senator Hargrove.
Madam Speaker, I have a motion.
State your motion.
Senator Hargrove, College of Education and Community Development, I move to add myself as a sponsor to open sponsorship on this piece.
Seeing that a motion has been made and seconded, it is debatable and amendable and require a majority vote. We will begin with debate for this motion. Do I see any debate for this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the first round debate against this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? Seeing none, we'll now move into the second round of debate for this motion. Do I see any debate for this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate against this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? Seeing none, it is the opinion of the chair that debate has become one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting on this motion. Do I see any objections to opening up sponsorship on this piece? Seeing none, this motion does pass. We are still in the second round of debate for this piece. Do I see any debate for this piece? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate against this piece. Do I see any debate against this piece? Seeing none, it is the opinion of the chair that debate has become one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting on this piece. We will do this via standing vote. All those in favor of the passage of Reveille 9 Remembrance Resolution, please rise to the room. All those opposed? Okay. By a vote of 50-0, this piece does pass. The floor is still open for motions. Do I see any motions?
Madam Speaker, I move to close the open session.
Also,
Senator Hargrove.
Seeing that a motion has been made and seconded, it is debatable and amendable and require a majority vote. We will begin with debate for this motion. Do I see any debate for this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the first round debate against this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round debate for this motion. Do I see any debate for this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate against this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? Seeing none, is the opinion of the chair that debate has become one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting on this motion. Do I see any objections to this motion? Seeing none, this motion does pass. Please refrain from packing up. We will now move into a period of committee reports. We will begin with Pro Tem Tucker. Do I see any questions for Pro Tem Tucker? Being none, we will now move into questions for our rules and regulations chair. Do I see any questions for Chair Horton? Seeing none, we will now move into our student services chair. Please be quiet and refrain from backing up. Thank you. Do I see any questions for Chair 2? Seeing none, we will now move into questions for our finance chair. Do I see any questions for Chair Wright? Seeing none, we will now move into our community relations chair. Do I see any questions for Chair Williams? I see Chair Teets.
Chair Teets, TNC, will you give us an update on how this city hall meeting went?
Yes, so the city hall meeting was great. I was a little upset because they did advertise it as a public hearing, and it wasn't until 2 days before that they let Ansley and I know that it was just a kind of informational meeting. But we do have the date for the actual public hearing, it is October 23rd. If you missed yesterday, we'll touch off, they all weren't there, but I need you to be there on October 23rd. It is a must, my committee will be there, it'll be an attendance requirement. And if you have any questions on some of their arguments, some of our arguments, please feel free to ask or reach out to me. I'd be happy to inform everybody. I feel like everybody in this room needs to know exactly what's going on. It should just be me.
I see Chair Ken.
Chair Ken academics first. So October 23rd, what time? 6. Thank you.
Senator Hargrove.
Senator Hargrove, College of Education and Community Development, can you elaborate on the survey that is also tied to this public hearing?
Yeah, so the survey will be, we'll stop on the 6th, I believe. And basically what that survey is, it's being sent out to anybody who has no or who was there. Where they will get to vote, or they will get to, document where they live, will this affect them, how will this affect them, do they support it, do they not support it? And how will this affect any of their friends and family? And it also asks questions as to why they don't support it or why they do support it. To elaborate on that, not on the survey portion as much, but at the meeting, we were able to document where we live on the map and did we support it, did we not? In case y'all didn't know, they're trying to ban overnight street parking on east side and south, east gate and south side. And based off how the meeting went, we see a lot more people in support on the south side portion than we do the east gate portion. So now our big thing is just trying to figure out why south side is the one that's targeted, why so many people are for street park overnight. An overnight ban on street parking in south side. So I think me and Anthony are planning on sending out another survey soon. That way us students can figure out how many people it's gonna affect in the south side. That way we can bring it to City Hall and come back there with the rest of them.
Any more questions for the chair? Seeing none, we thank him for his time. Moving to our legislative relations chair, do I see any questions for Chair Hurd? I see Senator Clark.
Senator Clark, off-campus caucus, what's going on in the LR?
Well, we just had a successful voter drive, so I do want to shout out. Help out, volunteered any, I might only give it praise, I did not. Okay, no, this is the call. I really appreciate all of them. They did a lot of hard work of actually registering voters. We registered around 50, maybe slightly over 50 voters. So really good job of participating in democracy over there. On top of that, I want to say that Lauren and I, we are prepping on getting a bill ready for constituency affairs to figure out the student input on median GPAs, so median GPAs for are on our transcripts, help out there. We're flirting with some LR legislation for the next upcoming actual big government Senate 2027. Woo. So one big one is talking about accessibility on campus. Another one has been talking about foster care students and foster students, seeing how we can better support them. Doing a lot of great things, networks there. On top of that, we're looking into guest speakers for some of our committee meetings. So if anyone's interested in learning more about government or LR or lobbying or things of the sorts, we're looking forward to doing that. But we're moving commission and things of the sort. So the big shout out to our senators, they did a great job with this.
Do I see any other questions for the chair? I see Senator Willis.
Senator Willis on campus caucus. Permission to preface.
Brief.
I recently saw an email about government shutdown. Do you have any information on that?
I mean, the biggest thing right now is waiting on the analysis on how it's going to impact research funding, because a lot of that is based off government funding for our research. I can get more specifics. That's something that we're looking for in our government or LR updates and news updates. That's something that I'll just tackle on and actually inform students about the government shutdown, how that impacts them. Another big one is FAFSA. A lot of our students who are trying to do FAFSA changes and things of the sorts might see delayed funding for that. Those students who already received their Pell Grants are not affected, which is great because that money's already been allocated. But if you're currently applying for FAFSA, things and sorts that process. Oh, the Bush School also, the Bush Library has lost some staff. They're no longer working right now because aren't getting paid. So they percent. So if you're looking for archives, Wah, wah, sorry.
Do I see any more questions for the chair? Seeing none, we thank him for his time. We're now moving into questions for academic affairs. Chair, do I see any questions for Chair Kim? See Chair Hurd. Chair Kim, stand up.
What's going on in your committee?
Okay, so, Director of Academic Affairs, today, both my executive counterpart and I had a AOC Dean's meeting. We have those, right before Senate, or not right before, 1:30, on Wednesdays. And we also had our very first provost meeting, with Dr. Sams and, some members of his team. We outlined a few expectations from him, and some expectations from the Senate side committee that we discussed, primarily focusing on academic affordability, potential subcommittee on that being brought to IA very shortly, and awareness of academic resources. There's some very great resources that we pay a lot of money for in our tuition, the university pays a lot of money for. And I believe that some of them are underused, and it's an awful shame that happens.
Any more questions for the chair? Seeing none, we thank him for his time. For constituency affairs chair. Do I see any questions for Chair Patel? Chair Kim.
Chair Kim, Academic Affairs, what's going on in your committee?
Well, we're trying to, establish goals. We talked a lot about expanding our on-campus outreach, trying to make tabling more palatable to students. So we're talking about how to get funding, getting food and other different ways to reach more students on campus, as well as kind of like offering support with social media outreach. So we got like a good gauge of like what everybody in our committee wants for like talent slides. So if somebody's like really good at like running social media and making posts or things, that can help out, help us get more active and reach more students there. Yeah, it's the main thing. Making goals.
Thank you.
Seeing needs and such.
Any other questions? I see Senator Hargrove.
Senator Hargrove, College of Education and Youth Development, how are the constituents? Good question.
Wonderful question.
That's a complicated question, right now, I think if I could summarize it, and you can take this however you want, tired. It is midterm season.
All right, do I have any other questions for the chair? Seeing none, we thank him for his time. Clarifications and posters. Chair, do I see any questions for Chair Teets? I see Senator Glover.
Senator Glover, all campus caucus. How does it feel being traditions? Well, I've been in the back row in the past session and session and a half, so it's a whole new.
Any other questions for the chair? Seeing none, we thank her for her time. Now moving to our executive director of operations, do I see any questions for BDO Troyer? Seeing none, thank her for her time. We will now move into a period of executive reports, starting with SVP Mallory. Will you please come to the floor?
Howdy, Senate. Hi. SVP Mallory, appreciate all the conversation over what we're currently working on in terms of allocating funds properly. To briefly explain what is going on, we're waiting on new accounts to be made for the money, which has come from a Chartwell's contract to actually be usable by both the Senate and the executive branch. So y'all are not the only ones waiting on this money. I am too, for every single one of my cabinet members. So we are all waiting on that funding. I'm able to take care of the representation commission for all their needs up until we get that funding. That is put at rest, everybody's taken care of. So just want to make sure everybody understood where we're at. The timing thing, waiting on those accounts to be made. It is within the fiscal side on DPSA's office to actually move forward to get those accounts created so we can use those funds. So.
Is that open for questions? Do I see any questions for the SVP? Seeing none, we thank him for his time. Now moving into our Chief Justice.
Howdy, Senate.
Aye.
Everyone's doing well, just some updates of J4, we certified most of all the Senate races for the fall election, so. Congratulations to all the senators. We have one case we have to kind of figure out tomorrow, 8 p.m. in this room, so we're not doing anything, it's always a fun time. And then, but it won't change the outcome of the election, it's really just a technicality. If one of the people that lost wants disqualified, removed from their name, but the person that won that election will remain the winner. No matter what, so that's tomorrow at 8 p.m. Very exciting. Other than that, your support, things are going smooth, going well. Things, hopefully will stay that way. But we'll see. But anyways, thank y'all.
All right, he's now open for your question and answer. I see Senator Hargrove.
Senator Hargrove, College of Education and Community Development, can you tell us about the vacancies that are listed on the position? Or
Vacancies as in the code allows us to have up to 9 justices.
yes, permission to back.
Briefly.
Will y'all be filling those open positions? I believe y'all only have 7 now.
We're pursuing a plan, but to have we don't know if we're gonna get to 9, that's kind of more y'all's decision than mine, to be perfectly honest. However, I will say, the goal is to have 9 come spring. But I'm a big believer in quality over quantity, so and I know y'all are too.
Any other questions for the Chief Justice? Seeing none, we thank him for his time. I will now yield the chairship to my dear friend, Chair Purcell. He's back in the spot. Howdy, Senate.
With that, the speaker is now
Oh,
open
sorry.
to presentation,
Okay, hi, Senate.
Hi.
I don't have much, I just wanted to say thank you to Chair Hurt and Chair Williams on all of their work that they've done this week. They've spearheaded projects. Really excited to see where both the voter registration and what we've got going on in the city, how that progresses over the next few weeks. Please mark your calendar for October 23rd. I need all of you there. I think that student representation is the best way that we can make change. And you guys are the voice of the student body. So I need you there. Please mark your calendars. Please be there. Also, on October 22nd, we are going to build at Build. We're all gonna go as a Senate. I think that it would be so fun. I'm going to open up a Google form. We only have 20 spots. It's from 5 to 6 p.m. and I urge you to be there because now they're an SGA committee and I want to show the Senate support in a super awesome thing that we do here on campus. If you don't know about Builds, look it up. It's awesome. I won't waste your time by talking a whole bunch about it, but it's awesome. Please look it up and please be a part of it. We also have our Halloween Senate meeting coming up on October 29th. So start thinking about your costumes that you might want to wear. I don't know, I might get creative. But that's all from me. I'm now open for questions.
With that, the speaker is now moved to a period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for Speaker Pacino? I see Senator Revolko.
Well, what's the date of the bill thing again?
That's October 22nd. It's one of our off Wednesdays.
Do I see any more questions? I see Senator Willis.
Senator Willis, on campus caucus, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I'm having a lot of fun. Thanks for asking.
Do I see any more questions for the speaker? Seeing none, we thank her for her time. Now we yield the chair.
Okay. Here you go. With that, I will now move into a period of closing roll call led by Chair Purcell. Please refrain from packing up. We have to cherish this moment because he hasn't been over here in a while. It's been a hot sec since he's done a roll call.
Alright, brief, done with the drill. That's the name, please say howdy. It's Vicky Mallory. Chief Justice Rayfeld. Speaker Jusino.
Howdy.
Let's see. I was doing this backwards and I used to do it. Hold on. What's her name? President Tucker. Chairman Horton. Chairman Wright. Chairman Kim. Howdy. Chairman Williams. Howdy. Chairman Chu. Chairman Hurt. Howdy. Senator Fawn. Senator Neoparia. Senator Owen. Howdy. Senator Smith. Howdy. Senator Allen.
Howdy.
Senator Jackson.
Howdy.
Senator Royal. Senator Attaway. Senator Deely. Howdy. Senator Richards. Howdy. Senator Schmidt. Senator Austin Williams. Howdy. Senator Yost. Senator Collins. Senator Chesler. Senator Vivanco. Senator Landons. Senator Smith, Hudson Smith. Senator Westlake. Senator Ben Williams. Here. Senator Long. Howdy. Senator Grimm. Senator Alvarez. Senator Burnside. Senator Hughes. Senator Coateson. Senator Willis.
Howdy.
Senator Von Wockerfeld. Senator Batten.
Oh, howdy.
Senator Adamek. Senator Barber. Senator Becker. Senator Brown. Senator Clark.
Howdy.
Senator Fleener. Senator Flores.
Howdy.
Senator Garcia.
Howdy.
Senator Glazer. Senator Glover.
Howdy.
Senator Hall.
Howdy.
Senator Hicks.
Howdy.
Senator Honey. Senator Kaiser. Senator Murray.
Howdy.
Senator Pesic.
Howdy.
Senator Pogue. Senator Sanchez.
Howdy.
Senator Sloan. Senator Steele. Senator Stites. Senator Teets, or Chair Teets.
Howdy.
Senator Vanderhyde. Senator Wilkins. Senator Schwerner.
Howdy.
Senator Knott. Here. Senator Lambert. Here. Senator Abel. Senator Lemasters. Alright, thank y'all.
With that, this meeting is adjourned. You're both here, but have to leave here. I'm sorry.